Today, I will be having my third session with Kate. Kate came to counseling because she was experiencing depressive symptoms after a significant move. In today's session, I will be using Beck's cognitive therapy as a guiding approach. Accordingly, I will seek to help Kate understand the way her thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are connected. Specifically, we will be working to identify any cognitive distortions that may be contributing to Kate's stress. Oh, hi, Kate. How are you? Did you find the meeting link okay?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's great. Now, before we start our session today, I wanted to spend a little bit of time reviewing some of the ethics. Now, I know we went over some of these last week, but I wanted to make sure I was clear. I know we went over a lot of information last week.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to remind you that we have a confidentiality agreement. So everything you say here stays with me, but I do have a duty to report if you tell me about child abuse, elder abuse of dependent adults, or otherwise danger to yourself or others, including an intent of suicide.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So how has your week been? How have you been feeling since our last session?
I've been okay. Not very different. Some days are better and some days are worse.
Hmm. And what does a better day look like for you?
Well, I have energy to shower, to make myself food, and I don't feel like I made a mistake moving away from family. Moving was exciting at first, but now I'm just homesick.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad to hear you've had some good days. I know it can take a lot of motivation and willpower just to do those things, and I'm really proud of you.
I mean, that was only 2 days this week. The rest were pretty rough.
Oh, I wouldn't discount 2 days. It sounds like this move has been a big adjustment for you, and it's better than you did last week, it sounds like.
I guess.
Yeah, I think so. And so, are you feeling pretty homesick on your bad days?
Yeah, kind of. I just mostly don't have the energy I used to, and I feel so down.
Hmm. And what do you do when you feel down, Kate?
I don't know. I guess I just stay in bed.
So, you feel down and then you stay in bed?
Yeah, I just feel like I'll never be able to get out of this.
Well, I certainly think you're making some progress. It sounds like you've already had a few good days this week, and these things can take time, and I think you're definitely on a good track right now.
Okay, well, that's good, I guess.
hmm And did you have a chance to book an appointment with your doctor about perhaps a prescription for some antidepressants?
Yeah, I booked an appointment for next week.
Oh, awesome. Good for you. I hope that'll be a good experience for you.
I think so.
hmm So, is there anything else you're hoping to talk about today? I know we had set a goal last week of trying to get more connected with people in order to feel a bit lonely. How are you feeling about that?
I don't know, just what you think is good for me. I know you're the one who knows what they're doing here.
Oh, no, I wouldn't quite put it that way. The way I see it, we work as a team to do this therapy work here.
Okay, well, I mean, maybe we can talk about my work. I never have the energy to go out, so I'm not making friends at work. I'm never going to have friends here. They don't like me anyway, so why would I go out with them?
Okay, so you'd like to talk about your coworkers.
Yeah,
Okay, sounds good. We can put that on the agenda. Is there anything else you think we need to talk about today?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. So let's chat about your homework from last week. We talked about you calling one of your old friends. You wanted to call Shannon. Were you able to get around to calling her?
Yeah, but we only talked for about 10 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really proud of you and that you were able to find the motivation to do that.
I guess.
hmm And how was it to call Shannon? Was it difficult?
Um, yes and no. I mean, I found it pretty easy to call because I knew you would ask me about it.
I see. And how did it go for you?
I mean, it just kind of felt like she didn't want to talk to me. It felt like she was too busy for me. It made it hard to want to call her.
Hmm. So those sound like thoughts. I'm wondering, how did you feel when you were talking to her?
I don't know, kind of sad, I guess.
Anything else?
Maybe a bit disappointed.
Hmm. Yeah, that does sound sad. Now, I'm just trying to get a better sense of the situation. I'm wondering, yeah, if you could just tell me a little bit more.
Well, it's just hard to feel like the people who are supposed to care about you are too busy for you.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, what is the evidence you have that Shannon was too busy for you?
Well, I mean, we only talked for like 10 minutes because she was on her way to see another friend. I
Hmm,
felt so bad for taking up her time, and then I just felt like she's moved on and found other friends.
I see. What else?
I don't know, the whole conversation just felt rushed.
Hmm. And do your calls with Shannon always seem rushed?
No, we've always been really close.
Okay. So I'm wondering if you might be overgeneralizing a bit. Remember last week when we talked about the cognitive distortion of overgeneralization?
Yeah, that's when you think everything is bad based on one thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm wondering if it sounds like 10 minutes wasn't quite enough time to chat. I wonder if you might be overgeneralizing this situation.
I think that could be the case.
Hmm. And do you think there's another way you can look at this situation?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I obviously wasn't there during the phone call, but I wonder if she was actually really excited that you called her after having not talked in so long.
Maybe?
Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, maybe it just wasn't a good time for her. I know get stressed sometimes when I'm short for time.
Aha, it sounds like that may have been the case.
I never really thought of it that way, but that makes sense.
Hmm. So we have a bit of time here to work on some things. I know we already talked about working on the situation with your coworkers. It sounds like you may also be having some doubts about your friendships back home.
Yeah, I just can't know where things are at there anymore. I
Mhm,
can't know not being there.
mhm. So this sounds similar to what we were talking about with Shannon. Is this something you'd like to work on here?
Maybe, but after what you said earlier, I wonder if I'm just overthinking everything.
Hmm. And do you think we should prioritize this before the situation with your coworkers and doctor then?
Hmm, I think being able to make things better at work might be more important in the meantime.
Hmm.
Try to call my friend again, but I don't even know where to start with work.
So why don't we work on that first?
That might be nice.
All right. So let's chat for a bit about work.
Oh boy.
Hmm. I'm wondering if maybe you can tell me a bit about what a day at work might look like.
Well, I just work in an office. Mainly my job is to reply to emails and update client profiles.
Okay. And is that what your coworkers do as well?
Well, we all have similar jobs. We're all in the same office.
Okay. And what is it like to work in the same office as your coworkers?
That's a bit intimidating. I feel like they all know what they're doing, and then there's just me scrambling, trying to figure out what to do.
I see. Hmm.
And then there's the social part. They've all worked there for years, and everyone knows everything about everyone. And it's like, how am I even going to catch up?
Ah, catching up. Do you need to catch up?
Well, yeah, if I want to be able to hang out and be a part of things.
So your relationship with your coworkers is dependent on catching up?
Yeah.
And do you think it's possible, Kate, to completely catch up?
No, I mean, they've been there for so long, and I've just started.
Hmm. So even though you don't think you'll be able to catch up, you're still putting this pressure on yourself to catch up.
Yeah, I guess so.
And is this kind of pressure, is it helping you?
Honestly, it just makes me feel kind of hopeless.
Hmm. And how else do you feel when you think about needing to catch up?
I don't know, kind of bummed, honestly. Just sad and depressed.
I can imagine. So this pressure, this thought, I need to catch up or I'll never catch up. Does that run through your mind often?
Yeah, I feel like I just can't get away from this pressure.
And what do you do when you feel this pressure?
I don't know, I just kind of stay at my desk, let myself feel bummed.
Hmm. And how does it feel to stay at your desk?
Kind of lonely.
Hmm. Well, Kate, it sounds to me like you're going in circles. You think you can't catch up, which makes you feel kind of bummed and hopeless. And then you stay at your desk. But I wonder if staying at your desk is just isolating you a bit more from your coworkers.
Well, exactly, it just seems hopeless.
Hmm. Yeah, but I wonder what would happen if we changed up this cycle.
What do you mean?
Okay, so the thought, I need to catch up. It actually reminds me of something psychologists call automatic thoughts. And I know we talked about this a little bit last week, but these thoughts are just kind of thoughts that pop into your head unannounced, almost automatically. And the thing about these thoughts is that they can be kind of hard to recognize sometimes. And these thoughts, they often lead to emotions. So, for example, the thought of feeling like you need to catch up seems to lead you to feel bummed and hopeless. And so sometimes we hardly notice the automatic thoughts. We just notice those feelings. Does that resonate with you at all?
I think so.
Hmm. Okay, so now the important thing to know about automatic thoughts is that sometimes they can be helpful and sometimes they aren't.
Yeah, I doubt this one's helping me.
Yeah, and automatic thoughts, they aren't necessarily 100% true. In fact, sometimes they can be called what's called a cognitive distortion, like we talked about earlier, where we think things that maybe are a bit distorted from reality.
I mean, I agree with you and all, but I do feel like I'm being realistic. I mean, it's true that I will never be able to catch up.
I think you're correct to think that, but I think this whole thought of I need to catch up kind of seems a bit arbitrary to me. It reminds me of a specific cognitive distortion called arbitrary inferences. And this is when you make a conclusion about something that doesn't really have supporting evidence.
What exactly do you mean?
Well, I wonder if you have any evidence for the thought that you need to catch up with someone in order to be their friend.
Kind of. You don't just know a person fully after one conversation.
Hmm. That is true, but I'm wondering if fully catching up is kind of arbitrary to being able to be friends with someone.
I think it's related.
Yeah, but do you think after a few conversations with someone, you might be closer than you were to the person beforehand?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, but what if you were not fully caught up with them? Can you still be closer than you were before?
Yeah.
Huh. So I wonder if by thinking that you need to catch up with your coworkers in order to get to know them, I wonder if that's actually making it more difficult for you to get to know them.
Maybe, because right now, the way things are, I honestly can't say I know them at all.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I'm curious, what might be the effect of thinking this thought then, that you need to catch up? Or the
Well,
effect, sorry, of changing this thinking that you need to catch up?
I mean, ironically, it might actually help me catch up a bit.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, because in the grand scheme of things, I guess I'd rather at least kind of know my coworkers than not know them at all.
Hmm. To me, Kate, I think if your goal is to make some friends at work, I think that might be a more realistic way to approach it. Now, can you think of a way that maybe you could rephrase this thought that I need to catch up in a more helpful way that would work towards your goal of making some friends?
Maybe it's at least better for me to try to get to know my
Mhm.
coworkers.
Yeah, I think that's a good start, but do you think it's possible to reframe that in a more positive way?
Well, what about saying I can get to know my coworkers better, one conversation at a time?
Yeah, I think that's incredible, Kate.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, I still have this mindset that I need to catch up. I feel like it's one thing to talk about changing here, but it's totally different to actually do it.
Hmm. Kate, I don't think you're alone in this challenge. Now, remember how we talked about the way automatic thoughts just pop into your head?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want you to think about a song, really well, a song you listen to a lot.
Does it matter what type of song?
Nope, just any song.
Okay.
Okay, now imagine you're driving home today and you get a song stuck in your head. Is it more likely to be the song you listen to a lot, or is it most likely to be this song you just heard once in the elevator on the way down?
It's probably the one that I know well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same way with your automatic thoughts. When the time comes and you go to work, you're not going to suddenly start thinking differently. It takes practice to change your automatic thoughts.
How do you practice thinking?
Haha, it is a bit of a strange concept, isn't it? Now, I wonder if it would be helpful to write some sort of replacement automatic thought down and put it in a place where you can read it every day. What do you think of that?
Maybe I'm not the best at following through on things.
Yeah, no worries. Well, I wonder what would happen if you put it in a place where you might see it without even having to remember to think about it. A place like on your TV. I know you'd mentioned that you tend to watch a fair bit of TV.
That might work.
Okay, I'm wondering, do you have any sticky notes or maybe a piece of paper where you're at right now?
Um, yeah, I do.
Okay, and do you have a pen?
Yes.
Okay, I'm wondering if you would be able to write down that new thought you had. The thought about changing or becoming friends and closer to people one conversation at a time. Do you remember that?
I had forgotten it already.
That's no worries. I wrote it down here in my therapy notes. Let me just take a peek. I thought it was really good what you said. Here it is. You said, I can get to know my coworkers one conversation at a time. Okay, you have that? Awesome. Well, I'm wondering maybe you could stick that somewhere like after our meeting?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, great. Well, Kate, today we've talked about what has been going on with you and what's been going well and what's been more difficult, such as your relationships at work and that call with your friend Shannon. So let's talk about what you can do this week as part of our collaborative work. I know we've talked about sticking this note in a place you'll see it. Is there somewhere specific that you think you can stick it?
I might put it on my TV like you suggested.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
Hope it works okay.
And what will you do at work to start feeling like you can make some friends?
I need to start talking to people, I guess.
That's part of it. Just one step at a time, though, one conversation at a time.
I can do that. Maybe I'll even speak to my cubicle mate. I know he just got a new dog, so that might be a good place to start.
Oh, that's a great conversation starter, Kate.
I think so. I mean, I really like dogs, so I might actually have something to say about that.
Yeah, for sure. And how about another conversation with Shannon? I know we talked about your thoughts and how you're feeling around that conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to call her again.
Hmm. And is there a specific day this week you'll have time to call her?
Maybe Wednesday? Maybe though I should text her first to see if she has time.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to avoid a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I'll text her right after I'm done here so I don't forget.
Yeah, that sounds good. I know it can be a challenge to remember that sort of thing.
Tell me about it.
Well, Kate, it looks like we're coming to the end of our session. How did you find today?
I found it helpful. It's always nice to hear someone's voice other than my own. I can be
Hmm.
so in my head.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And is this format working okay for you?
I think so, yeah. At least there's nothing I can think of that's not working.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I'll try and keep checking in on you, but if at any point things aren't working, just don't hesitate to let me know. I really want to make sure we're working as a team here.
I like that.
Okay, wonderful, Kate. Well, I just wanted to say you did a really good job today. I know it can be challenging to address some of these thoughts, but you've been doing really good with it.
Thanks. I'm definitely still getting used to it.
Yeah, well, you're doing great, and I appreciate your openness and vulnerability with me.
Thanks. I'm really glad to be getting some help.
Mhm. Well, Kate, it's a pleasure to work with you. Next time, we'll talk about how these next steps are for your automatic thoughts and how your friendships are going for you.
That sounds great. Thanks.
Wonderful. Well, it's been good to chat with you. I'll see you next week.